The esteemed Stoic philosopher Epictetus once remarked, "The key is to associate only with those who elevate you, whose presence brings out your best." You might have heard the saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Today, we will delve into this concept through a Stoic lens. We will explore the 7 types of individuals who can hinder your progress in Stoic philosophy and how to manage these challenging relationships. Before we begin, I'd appreciate it if you could like this video to support the spread of Stoic philosophy. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Types of people to avoid. Number 1. The drama magnet. Imagine your life as a ship navigating through calm waters, only to encounter the whirlpool known as the drama magnet. This person is constantly embroiled in crises, conflicts, or controversies, and like a whirlpool, they have an uncanny ability to draw you into their vortex of chaos. Initially, you might mistake their energy for passion or excitement, but soon you'll find that being around them is like navigating a storm, exhausting and perilous. The tricky part about drama magnets is that their crises often feel like your own, pulling you into conflicts you had no part in. For example, you might have a friend who is always falling out with others in your social circle. Today it's Sarah, tomorrow it's Tom. Your friend seeks your advice, but the cycle never ends, and soon you find yourself at odds with Sarah or Tom as well. To deal with drama magnets, you can use a strategy called reflective listening. Instead of offering advice or taking sides, mirror their words back to them. For example, if they say, "I can't believe Sarah said that about me," you could respond with, "So you feel betrayed by Sarah's words." This technique provides emotional support without getting entangled in the drama. Another counterintuitive approach is to become selectively unavailable. Stoicism teaches us to value our time highly, which sometimes means being unavailable for others' recurring crises. Turn off your phone during certain hours, create focus periods for work or personal development, and make it clear that you are not to be disturbed during these times. To paraphrase Seneca, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This can be especially helpful when dealing with drama magnets. Instead of anxiously anticipating the next crisis, focus on the present moment where you have control. Enjoy your life and steer your ship clear of whirlpools that threaten your journey toward personal growth and tranquility. Number 2. The complainer. We all know someone who seems to find fault in everything: the weather, their job, even the food at a popular restaurant. They never miss a chance to express their dissatisfaction. You might wonder, why should this concern me? I can just ignore them. However, consistent exposure to such negativity can drain your mental well-being, much like a leaky faucet slowly depleting your reservoir of emotional energy. Stoicism teaches us to focus on actionable solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Imagine you're collaborating on a project with someone who is a perpetual complainer. Each meeting turns into an exhausting session of complaints without any constructive dialogue. The team's morale declines, you're sidetracked from finding solutions, and you become increasingly disenchanted with the project, and possibly even life in general. To deal with a complainer, limit your exposure to them whenever possible. If that's not an option, perhaps because they're a family member or colleague, mentally distance yourself during their rants. Think of their complaints as a passing storm, loud and unsettling but ultimately temporary and powerless against the unmovable mountain that is your own inner tranquility. Another strategy is to steer the conversation towards solutions or change the subject to something more constructive. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This timeless Stoic wisdom encourages us to guard our mental peace diligently, ensuring that the negativity from chronic complainers doesn't divert us from our Stoic path of resilience and virtue. Number 3. The naysayer. Imagine you're an artist painting a canvas, each brushstroke adding color, depth, and life to your vision. Enter the naysayer. They glance at your work and immediately start to critique it. "Are you sure about that color? That doesn't look realistic." You know most artists never make it, right? Their words, like strokes of gray paint, begin to dull your vibrant canvas. This isn't constructive criticism, which can be valuable, but a persistent aura of doubt and negativity. For instance, suppose you're excited about pursuing a new career path. You've done your research, spoken to professionals in the field, and even taken a few preliminary courses. When you share your enthusiasm with the naysayer, they quickly list all the reasons it won't work out. The market is too competitive. Do you have the right skills? What if you fail? Soon, their doubts start to feel like your own, and the self-assured vision you had begins to wobble. To handle a naysayer, especially if they're close to you, one effective method is to ask them for advice instead of just sharing your plans. When people are put in an advisory role, they're less likely to outright attack your ideas and may offer more constructive feedback. Another method is positive confrontation. Instead of absorbing their negativity, challenge them to think of solutions. If they say, "You'll never be able to switch careers at this stage," counter with, "Interesting perspective. How do you think someone could successfully make a career change?" Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening doesn't mean absorbing everyone's negativity. It means discerning valuable input from mere noise. When the naysayer starts to cloud your canvas with their shades of doubt, Step back, listen, reflect, and continue painting your life with the colors that speak to you. Don't let anyone turn your vibrant masterpiece into a dull gray landscape. Number 4, the toxic positivist. You know this person. They're always exuding sunshine, rainbows, and endless streams of emojis. They tell you to just be happy during difficult times, dismissing your feelings and experiences with a wave of glittery optimism. Imagine your life as a garden. There are flowers, but there are also weeds and pests. The toxic positivist, however, insists on ignoring anything that isn't a blooming rose. Got aphids on your leaves? Just focus on the flowers. Don't let negativity into your garden, they'd say. While this sounds uplifting, their approach can make you feel invalidated and disconnected from reality. Suppose you're going through a tough breakup. You're sad, confused, and seeking some emotional balance. The toxic positivist's advice? There are plenty of fish in the sea. Just smile and be happy. This sort of excessive positivity neglects the complexities of human emotion and the realities of life's challenges. To deal with a toxic positivist, engage them in a discussion that embraces both light and shadow. If they say, "Look on the bright side, at least you have your health," you could reply, "Yes, I'm grateful for my health, but it's also okay for me to feel upset about this specific issue." Both can coexist. You can also use emotional granularity, the ability to feel and differentiate between a wide range of emotions. When the toxic positivist pushes you to just be happy, acknowledge and label your nuanced feelings. "I'm feeling a bit melancholic today due to X, and that's okay." Seneca once said, "True happiness is to understand our duties toward God and man, to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Notice the balance, understanding duties, which aren't always pleasant, and enjoying the present. A Stoic approach isn't about focusing solely on the positive or the negative. It's about embracing life's complexity with equanimity. So, when the toxic positivist sprinkles their confetti on your carefully tended garden, take a step back. Remember, a garden needs both sunshine and rain to flourish. Embrace your full emotional spectrum and keep nurturing your garden with the richness and complexity it deserves. Number 5, the victim. Imagine life as a game of chess. Each player has the same pieces and the same goal: to checkmate the opponent's king. You think strategically, make sacrifices, and take risks. The victim, however, blames the board, the pieces, or even their opponent for every poor move they make. In their eyes, they're perpetually in checkmate, not because of their choices, but due to some external force working against them. Their narrative is a never-ending tale of woe, with themselves cast as the helpless protagonist. "I can't get ahead in my job because my boss dislikes me," or "I can't get fit because I have bad genetics." While some people face genuine hardships and systemic issues, the victim we're discussing uses their predicament as a permanent excuse, refusing to take responsibility for their actions or lack thereof. You might find yourself entangled in their storyline, constantly needing to rescue them. For example, you might spend countless hours listening to a friend blame their endless string of failed relationships entirely on their ex-partners. This not only consumes your time, but can also subtly encourage you to adopt a similar victim mindset. To deal with a victim, it might be tempting to become their savior, offering endless advice and emotional support. But the Stoics would caution against this. They'd recommend drawing a firm boundary to protect your own mental state. Employ a technique called compassionate detachment. You can express empathy for their situation without getting emotionally ensnared in their narrative. For instance, say, "I'm sorry you're going through this. What steps do you think you can take to change the situation?" This approach gently nudges them toward personal responsibility without you taking on their burdens. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When dealing with the victim, keep this wisdom in mind. Don't allow their external locus of control to pull you into their perpetual cycle of helplessness. Focus on your internal strength and control, and encourage them, from a safe distance, to do the same. Remember, the chessboard of life is vast and full of potential moves. Each player must learn to strategize and make their own moves, embracing both victories and lessons from defeat. Number 6, the manipulator. Imagine you're an archer aiming for a distant target. Your focus is sharp, your aim steady, and your goal clear. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a gust of wind, deliberate and cunning, diverts your arrow, causing it to miss its mark. This is the work of the manipulator. They're adept at subtly influencing your actions and decisions for their benefit, often at the expense of your own well-being and goals. Manipulators can be charming, making it hard to see their true intentions. You might have a colleague who always gets you to do their extra work by complimenting your skills and dedication, or perhaps a friend who guilt-trips you into making sacrifices for them, leaving you feeling drained and used. These individuals exploit your emotions and trust to steer you off course, making you serve their agenda rather than your own. To counter a manipulator, it's crucial to develop a keen sense of self-awareness and boundaries. Reflect on Epictetus's teaching. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. If you feel your boundaries being pushed or your decisions manipulated, pause and reassess the situation. Politely but firmly assert your limits. For example, if a colleague says, "You're so good at this, can you handle my workload too?" Respond with, "I appreciate your confidence in me, but I have my own tasks to complete." Another Stoic technique is to detach emotionally from the manipulator's tactics. Recognize their flattery or guilt-tripping as strategies rather than genuine sentiments. This emotional detachment allows you to see the situation more clearly and make decisions based on reason rather than manipulated emotions. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Keep your thoughts and intentions clear and focused on your true goals. Don't allow the manipulator to cloud your vision or divert your path. Like the archer, maintain your aim, adjust for the wind, and let your arrow fly true to its target. By doing so, you preserve your integrity and continue your journey toward wisdom and virtue. Number 7. The enabler. Picture a gardener who, instead of pulling out the weeds that threaten to overrun the garden, waters and nurtures them. This gardener is the enabler. They mean well and often act out of love or desire to help, but their actions encourage negative behaviors and hinder growth. You might know a parent who always bails their child out of trouble, a friend who covers for another's bad habits, or a partner who overlooks unhealthy behaviors. Their support, while seemingly kind, prevents the person from facing consequences and learning valuable life lessons. For example, imagine you have a friend who frequently gets into financial trouble due to irresponsible spending. Every time they ask for a loan, you oblige, thinking you're helping. However, instead of solving their problem, you're enabling their financial mismanagement, depriving them of the opportunity to learn fiscal responsibility. To deal with an enabler, gently but firmly confront the enabling behavior. Use Socratic questioning to help them realize the long-term consequences of their actions. Ask questions like, "Do you think our support is truly helping in the long run? Or what if we allowed them to face the natural consequences of their actions?" These questions encourage the enabler to reflect on their behavior and its impact. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Instead of arguing or lecturing, demonstrate through your actions the importance of facing consequences and learning from them." If you stop lending money to your financially irresponsible friend, you're embodying a Stoic principle, helping others grow through facing and overcoming their challenges. Seneca also reminds us, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. By allowing loved ones to confront their issues, you're not abandoning them, but giving them the courage and opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. Encourage the enabler to support their loved ones in constructive ways, such as offering advice or resources rather than quick fixes. In conclusion, remember that our relationships significantly influence our journey in Stoicism. While we should strive for compassion and understanding, it's crucial to recognize and manage these 7 types of individuals who can derail our progress. By setting boundaries and embodying Stoic principles, we can cultivate healthier relationships and stay true to our path of personal growth and resilience.